I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning and welcome to the June 4, 2018 meeting for the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair, and joining me today is Commissioner Shelley Bueller. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Bob Archer. Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Clerk, if we could start with our first item.
First item under proclamations, presentation of current Kansas Expo Center financials and fiscal year 2017 financials. Kellen Seitz.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz, Spectre Venue Management, the Kansas Expo Center. I wanted to take some time this morning to meet with you regarding our financial performance of our 4-month stub year. Those financials have been audited by our external auditing company, and then also present to you kind of a snapshot of where we are currently for our financials through April. So without further ado, I'll get started. When we came in September 1st, 2017, we assumed the budget of the previous operator, which was a subsidy for those 4 months of $440,193. We were able to come in well under that budget at $284,812, and I'll dive into that in a little bit more detail here as we go. For the revenue side, we came in a little under. We weren't able to book a few of the events that were budgeted for during that previous operator's year, but it wasn't by a whole lot. We were under budget about $26,000 in event revenues and other revenues, which include things like food and beverage, parking fees, ticketing fees, those types of things. The big savings was how much we were able to decrease the operating expense. And those are things from streamlining our operation, from honing in on our staffing policies and procedures, and we were able to save about $182,000 versus budget there in just that one segment of indirect and personnel expenses, which equated to a total savings of that first 4 months of $155,381. For where we currently sit through April, we're rolling very well. We are currently a little bit ahead of our goal on event revenues, and as you can see in other revenues there, we're still making up some of that margin, but for total revenues as a whole, we're rolling about $7,000, just shy of that, ahead of budget. Again, through these first 4 months from January through April, we are rolling very well under budget on those indirect expenses, and that's again everything from staffing costs to utilities, and really trying to streamline our operational practices for the facility. So through April, we are currently well ahead of budget. The budget that we presented to the Commission during the RFP process is the budget that we still have for this operating year for FY18. So that's significantly lower than the budget year of FY17. Some of the highlights I wanted to show to you were some of the events that have been reoccurring year over year. And the two main ones are going to be the Blizzard Bash and the Capital City Carnage. And some things I wanted to highlight here are the amount of event revenues that we were able to produce by increasing those attendance numbers year over year. In this specific event, we were able to increase just about 2,000 tickets. Now, 2,000 tickets might not sound like a whole lot, but when you add in all the other ancillary revenues tied to those 2,000 tickets, as well as the revenue from the ticket sales from those 2,000 tickets, it creates a significant impact. The impact from this year versus the previous year of Blizzard Bash was a positive variance of about $31,000. Same thing as we go into Capital City Carnage. We were able to increase attendance for that show in March by over 1,000 tickets, and again, those associated revenues generated from that event netted a positive variance for that show a little over $27,000. And this is one that we really wanted to highlight and focus on for this year, was Skeleton for King and Country. This was the first concert that Spectra produced, wholly from contracting phase all the way through to fruition. And in this event, we were able to generate over about 1,200 additional ticket sales versus the previous year, which nearly doubled the actual ticket revenue. And all the ancillary revenues associated with that nearly tripled again for a positive variance versus the previous show. It says previous year, but previous show back in 2010 of about $18,700. So I wanted to highlight the event portions of that just to show, kind of the impacts and some of the impacts that we are trying to deliver for the Expo Center with an increased marketing and an increased sales approach. As we dive into sales, we wanted to take an analysis of where sales have been over the past 4 to 5 years at the Expo Center. And these are sales partnerships and sponsor partner revenues for the building. As you can see, they kind of hit their high in 2013 in this 5-year look back at about $98,000. And as we have increased and taken over on this next slide, you'll kind of see the trend. In 2017, in that 4 months, we were able to achieve $122,376, which is higher than the top year in 2013. And where we sit in April through this year is roughly $260,618 in sales and partnerships revenues for the year. So again, that's just our first 4 months. A lot of those contracts are multi-annual or reoccurring contracts that we've secured, which will continue into years to come. But also, this is only through April. So we have already achieved our goal, which is what was proposed in the RFP. Our goal for sales and sponsorship revenue for this year was $212,500. As you can see, we're well ahead of that, and we've got about 8 months to go. So we're hoping that we can really knock this one out of the park. And some of the ways we're doing that are areas that we've started to take advantage of, which we've spoken a lot about throughout this RFP process and the renovation process, is areas where we felt there were additional revenues to be had that weren't being used. So we got a partner on board to rebrand the premium suite in the facility, do a full makeover of that suite, brand it with their company materials, new carpeting, new seats. We're building out some additional features in there for food and beverage. But that's a piece that's very significant to the amount of revenues that the building is able to achieve just by putting in a little legwork and trying to find revenue where there hasn't been in the past. So that's the snapshot for financials of where we're at through April. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Kellen?
I don't have any questions. Great information. And Kellen, actually, if I could get a copy of it, that would be
Sure.
great. I'm going to group to speak this week and tell them what's new and exciting at the county, so this would be helpful.
Absolutely.
Great work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this really does show the work that Spectra has come in and done, and just we expect continued results, and you guys have delivered so far, and really happy with the progress that's been made.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Archer?
Yeah, wow. It's exceeding my expectations, to be honest with you, and I appreciate the work that you're doing and the Spectra team. Yeah, wow.
Very good. Thank you.
Now if you
Thank
could
you.
just book that one concert.
Yeah, Darius Record, we're working on that one, I promise. Thank you.
I didn't bring that up.
Our next item.
Item 3, consent agenda.
There are 3 items on the consent agenda. Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
We have vouchers totaling $1,111,337.16. Most of that is in payroll, $538,199 $1,000.03, and that is in pool cash. Second is in the equipment fund, and this is $113,447.71. It is for the remodel of the courtroom in Division 3. And third is holding accounts, Kansas Director of Vehicles, $95,458.20. And I had no concerns or questions, so I'll move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 2, consider correction orders.
I'll move to approve the correction orders.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, planning. Number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2018-25, authorizing a conditional use permit to establish a public utility facility on property zoned residential reserve district and located at 3260 Southeast Tecumseh Road.
Good morning, Commissioners. Barry Beagle, Shawnee County Planning Department. The request before you is by Shawnee County Rural Water District Number 8, seeking a conditional use permit as indicated to establish, well, actually to authorize a public utility facility at 3620 Southeast Tecumseh Road. This request would bring the present site and its operation into compliance with the zoning regulations. The Water District has operated from this property for the past 44 years. Unfortunately, we cannot find a record when it was initially established with regard to a use permit being issued for this type of activity. Nonetheless, this application will bring the property into compliance, and it would also allow them to construct a 2,400 square foot storage building on the property that they desire to do as well. So it appeared before the Planning Commission on May 14th. No one appeared in opposition and was unanimously recommended for approval. That's it.
Barry, in reading through this, am I correct in my read that when the Water District wanted to construct the secondary building of 2,400 square feet, is that what triggered the discovery that it was out of compliance for the last 44 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so this is just bringing this, number one, just bringing it into and then also allowing them to construct the 2,400 square foot building.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
I'll move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion to adopt by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item C, County Councilor. Number 1, public hearing and consider approval of resolution number 2018-26, vacating a portion of Northwest 84th Street located approximately 1,325 feet north of the intersection of Northwest 82nd Street and Northwest Topeka Boulevard.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jonathan Brazon, Assistant County Councilor. Before you is a proposed road vacation. The statute that we're working under is KSA 68102, which is a cost versus benefit test for you to look at whether the necessity for the road justifies the expenditure to put the road in condition for travel. Right now, there is no road there. This was platted in the mid-'60s. It's never been opened as a road. So unless you have any other questions for me, we need to open the public hearing.
I'll move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made to open the public hearing by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. In the public hearing, are there any persons wanting to speak for the vacation of the Northwest 84th Street? Anybody wanting to speak against the vacating of the Northwest 84th? Okay. Commissioners, at this time, I would move to vacate the portion of Northwest 84th Street.
Close the public
Oh,
hearing.
I'm sorry. Move to close the public hearing. Is there a second? I guess we need to close the public hearing first.
Second.
Yes.
Okay. Motion to close the public hearing by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Now I'll make a motion to vacate the Northwest 84th Street.
Second.
Motion made to vacate by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. All right. Our next item.
Item C2, public hearing and consider approval of resolution number 2018-27, vacating a portion of Monterey Drive located approximately 680 feet north of the intersection of Northwest 78th Street and Northwest Rochester Road.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Jonathan Brazana, Assistant County Counselor. Same legal standard applies to this one, and our information is that this road was platted in the mid-'70s.
I move to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Are there any persons wanting to speak against the road vacation? If there are, if you please come to the podium, state your name and what objections you may have to the vacation of the roadway.
Okay, my name is Delane White. We own the property directly behind where this road heads into. This property, if you have the map, I don't know if you have the map available here, my dad sold building sites probably back in the 60s along there. At the time, he was going to consider making a cul-de-sac in behind these houses, and that's why that easement was put in there, so they could gain access to that property, because there's only one other access to that property, which is the road to the south, which is paved. So that, as far as I'm concerned, that needs to stay open for options for building and building sites in the future, which will be happening down the road.
In looking at the map, it appears that you also have access off of Northwest Rochester to the,
To the north of the houses, yes,
okay.
but not along there.
And then you have access to the property off of Northwest 78th Street as well.
Correct.
So the
Correct.
vacation of the roadway would not create a landlocked piece, parcel of land, correct?
Not in that area, no.
Okay. There, any other questions for this individual, Commissioners? Okay. All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
I do have a question on that property, I'm sorry.
Hold on, just one moment, okay. If there's anybody else wanting to speak against the vacation, all right. Are there anybody wanting to speak for the vacating of the property? And if you will come and, again, state your name.
My name's Joe Brooks, I live
You
at
have to get to the- you have to-
7833
to the mic.
Rochester. And
Sir, you have to go to the microphone.
She's one of your gals. Oh,
And again, if you'll state your name.
My name is Joe Brooks, I live at 7833 Rochester. I just moved there less than a month ago. This is my neighbor Zach.
I'm Zachary Wagers at 7901 Northwest Rochester, just north of his residence.
That lot splits our two houses. We have maintained that lot. The previous owners of my house have lived there for 17 years. They maintained that lot, mowing it and all of that. What my question was is, we're not going to landlock you, and I did see the diagram.
We'll talk
Sir,
to
you
talk
you
to
have to
us.
speak to
I'm
them.
sorry. I did see the diagram of a roundabout, but you're talking a 60-foot width, if even that, between the two houses. So that's not even technically big enough for a roundabout. You can't put a house down there, and you can't put houses beside us on that roundabout. So the roundabout needs to go away and be just a straight road through if they're going to do that. We want to take over the property, split it between the two of us, and go that route. Keep the pasture locked into the individual who owns the pasture behind our properties, and go that route. Also, I had a concern that I had brought up earlier. In between the two properties, there is either a luminaire arm or a mast arm that was put in there. I can give this to you. It was put in there as a way to drain the drainage out there. And that is in the county right away. I don't know, put it there or anything else, but we would
From the
need-
podium, because these are being recorded.
I'm sorry, guys. That would need to be replaced and taken out, and a tube put in instead of that. And I don't know who did that, to be quite honest. Okay. It's been there, I talked to the previous owner said it was there when they moved in. So I don't know who put that there. The only thing that is in there is on on 7901 Rochester, and their southwest corner of their property is a utility pole that Westar could get in and pop the fuse and put the fuse back in off the ground. They don't need to get a truck up in there. So, my only other question is, if we split that, what is our taxes and fees gonna be?
We'll address that, take up that question with the counselor here in just a second.
Okay.
Any other questions?
That's all I have, Zach. You
Mr.
have-
Wagers, any?
Our biggest concern was that if we put a road through there, like, we've got 5 boys, 4 of them under the age of 5, but having, like, the Rochester Road's not too busy, but funneling those cars through there, we're right at where that hill comes down, and we've gotten almost rear-ended a few times when people are coming north and south, because you can't really see our driveway from that hill. So that was our concern of bringing this to y'all's attention, was the safety for our own kid, but even for anybody that's coming over that hill and us coming out of the driveway. And like I had presented before, there would be access from 78th Street and the north is, what, 82nd? Or that we would still, for development purposes, we can gain access from those paved roads over there.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No.
Mr. Brisson, as to the question about if there is a drainage tube on this parcel of land, who would be responsible for that drainage tube after this point if the road is vacated?
Well, what he's indicated is that it's currently in the county's right-of-way on Rochester. So that's something I think we need to go out and take a look at. If it's in the county's right-of-way now, then it would be our responsibility. But if it's on this parcel, then whoever gets that side of the parcel would be responsible for it. And I don't know who put it in. But my understanding is that it's in the county's right-of-way on Rochester, so we need to look at that.
Would that need then to delay any action by this board?
No, because we're not talking about changing that part of it.
Okay. And as to a utility pole that's in there, would that affect any of the vacating?
No, because we're not vacating any easements other than just the road right-of-way. We're not changing anybody else's utility easements or anything like that that may be through there.
And as to the question about the property taxes, getting his attention, if the roadway is vacated, will this increase or change their property valuations?
Well, currently, this should be part of their current property taxes to the center line, but what we found out was, in 1991, for whatever reason, this was made a separate parcel and put in Shawnee County's name and listed as exempt. So I don't know if anybody's been paying property taxes on it or not, but the appraiser set a value of $2,000 on the parcel. So if that's what it's worth, then half of that.
So then it would increase their valuation by $1,000.
Approximately.
So they would have some minor increase, but an increase nonetheless.
Yes.
And then again, the property as it's currently listed is in the name of Shawnee County?
It's currently listed in the name of Shawnee County, and we're not sure why that happened, but it was done in the 1990s.
Okay. Commissioners, questions regarding this? Or from Mr. Brisson or participants? Just in all fairness, did any of the persons that spoke previously have any additional comments? Oh, if you do, come on up.
Take her longer to walk up. My question is, who actually owns the property? Who actually owns the property?
And I think that's,
I honestly don't know, and that's one of the reasons I'm here.
the county is currently listed as being the owner of that property.
Okay, so there has been no, I mean, we're not talking hardly any, sizable portions of land, but there's no taxes paid on it because it does belong to the county, correct? Is that what you're saying?
That's the way it appears right now. but we're not sure, the indication from the counselor,
Okay.
how that became designated as the county's property.
And that's why we've been in question for years, since my dad died 8 years ago. What, we don't know.
Right.
So,
All right. Thank you.
But, sir, I'm sorry. But there are definite improvement plans in that area that...
not at this point, no.
Okay.
No, we're not planning anything for years down the road, but we all get old, and
Right,
after we all get old and we don't want to do it anymore, our bodies can't take it, we make other decisions. But nothing in the near future, no,
Ah, okay.
no.
Okay.
But you could come off of one of the other roads in order to have access.
Well, that's what I'd have to talk to the county about, on
Yeah, sure.
how to make access.
Right.
But if development were to begin in that area, I don't want any development in that area personally, and none of the neighbors do either, because when you live out in the country, the less traffic, the better. And with kids, I can agree with him, with young kids out there.
Yeah.
But, down the road, when you're too old to do it anymore, something has to give. Hopefully, that's a long way down the road, because I'm not quite that old yet. But nothing in the near future, no,
Okay.
absolutely not.
All right.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Any other questions for the counselor or other individuals?
Sorry. Carol Marple, and this was just a curiosity question. I have no stake in this anyway. Since the county owns it, then the county can't just give it to these property owners, correct? How will that work?
Process.
They'll have to sell it, won't they?
This is Jim Kraus, Shawnee County Counselor. I don't think the county owns it. I think it was incorrectly listed and parceled out as a county parcel years ago, when it should have just been continued as road right-of-way. And when you have road right-of-way, it would just be an easement that overlaid, and the two adjoining landowners should have been the ones listed as the record owner all along, in my opinion. We cannot figure out why, or if there was any specific action or reason why it might have been treated differently back in the early 90s when this parcel was created. We think it's probably just a mistake, so I wouldn't necessarily agree that the county owns it. What should happen is we're vacating, like in the other parcel, we're pulling that road right-of-way easement off of it, which means that it simply reverts back to a parcel that goes to the middle of that right-of-way for each adjoining landowner.
And that's the proper approach to take here.
Yes.
All right.
I'll move to close the public hearing and adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion to close the public hearing and adopt the resolution by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you very much. And thank you for being here today. Our next item.
Item D, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval of request to award bid for the Southwest 77th Street, Southwest Burlingame Road to US 75 Southwest Off-Ramp Street Repair Project to Bettis Asphalt and Construction Company, Inc., and authorization and execution of contract C-183-2018 for same in the amount of $355,056 with funding from the Public Works Special Highway account.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block, Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a Public Works item. And we went out for bids to have Southwest 77th Street from Burlingame Road to the US Highway 75 southbound off-ramp reconstructed with a full depth reclamation and then a asphalt overlay. While we did only receive one bid from Bettis Asphalt, the bid is below the engineer's estimate by about $40,000. And we did this exact same process on the frontage road along I-70 from Valencia Road out for a mile west. And Bettis is very qualified to do this type of work, so is our recommendation. that this contract be awarded to Bettis for that amount. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions for Mr. Block regarding this?
I have none. I'll move to award the bid to Bettis and approve the contract.
Motion to award the bid to Bettis and approve the contract by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0.
I do want to make one note just regarding that project now that it's been approved. We are allowing the contractor to have a floating start date for this project. The early start date would be Monday, June 11th, all the way up to the late start date of July 9th, and the contractor can fit it into their schedule as they see fit. But once they get started, they then will have 27 calendar days to have the road back open to traffic. So our goal there was to hopefully get as good a prices as we could by allowing that flexible start date, but then have it completed before school was back in session. So anyway, June 11th would be the earliest, and July 9th would be the latest it would be started.
Tom, given that we have a floating start date, how are we going to notify the landowners?
Just stating exactly that,
Okay.
that there's the floating start date.
But they would do it by the usual either mail or delivery of a card, letting them know that?
Yes.
Thank you. Our next item?
Item D2, consider approval of request to award bid for the purchase of multiple metal commercial waste containers to American Equipment in the amount of $22,196 from the Solid Waste Collection Fund.
Commissioners, Tom Block, once again, Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a solid waste item. As mentioned in the memo, we went out for bids for several metal commercial waste containers. We received 3 bids, and the lowest, most responsive bid came in from American Equipment for the price of $22,196, and it is our recommendation that the award be granted to American Equipment. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Archer.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item.
Item E, elections. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-184-2018 with Mainline Printing, Inc. for the election ballot services and printing for the 2018-2019 election cycle at an approximate cost of $78,000 for the 4 scheduled elections.
Good morning, Commissioners. Andrew Howell, Shawnee County Election Commissioner. This is the same set of contracts that we talked to you about on Thursday. This first one, the contract that we put together helps us make sure that we've got accurate proofs and that our ballots are machine readable. It also helps us ensure that all these ballots meet the technical specifications. Also, it makes sure that our vendor understands the strict time frames. And finally, part of what we put in here is language that we believe helps assure the security of the election ballots, files, and proofs throughout the entire process. This has been reviewed by the County Counselor's Office and Audit Finance. I would say also no significant cost increases anticipated as a result of this. We think it's very, very similar cost to what we currently have in place. So if you have any questions, I'll try to answer those.
Any questions regarding this? I'll move to approve the contract.
A second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook to approve the contract, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-185-2018 with Kansas Van and Storage Crickey Corporation for election equipment moving and delivery services for the 2018-2019 election cycle at an approximate cost of $7,425 per election.
Commissioners, this contract also very similar with a local provider to what we've seen in the past. Slight increase in cost, but not too surprising considering the additional security measures that we've put in place. It includes a route schedule showing anticipated routes and amount per route, loading, packing, unloading, and inside delivery of the election ballot boxes, as well as some other equipment, much like we've done in the past. As well as the return of that same equipment on Election Day, and then finally ensuring the security of the equipment throughout the process. Like I said, the cost very similar, slightly higher, but very similar. We think it's a good contract. It's been reviewed by the County Counselor's Office and Audit Finance. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer those.
I did have one question. On the contract, it notes that we're contemplating 4 elections under this contract. However, there may be special elections, and if there are, they would also be included under this contract.
Yeah,
Does
it's
that read?
correct. I mean, we're certain that we're going to have 4. It's certainly possible there could be more, but we're just basically outlining that there's a primary and a general election for each year, but it is possible that additional elections could occur.
Okay. Any other questions regarding this item?
Move to approve.
A second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thanks.
Our next item.
Item F, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of the following. A, contract C-186-2018 with Boy Scout Troop Number 193 for assistance with vehicle parking for the 2018 Spirit of Kansas fireworks event at Lake Shawnee at a cost of $1,200 available from the 2018 operating budget. B, contract C-187-2018 with Labor Max to provide temporary staffing for maintenance during the 2018 Spirit of Kansas fireworks event at a cost of $1,414.40, available from the 2018 operating budget. And C, resolution number 2018-28, permitting Parks and Recreation to collaborate with various county and city departments on necessary traffic patterns, placement of traffic control devices, and access associated with traffic flow for the Spirit of Kansas.
Good morning, Commissioner. Sean Osborne, Parks and Recreation. All 3 of these items are directly related to the Spirit of Kansas. I can answer any question that you might have on item A, B, or C, but they're pretty straightforward. They're things that we've done in the past. Troop 193 is the group that we worked with last year. Labor Max is the same group that we worked with last year, and they actually help with helping clean the bathrooms and different things throughout the Spirit of Kansas on that day, and helps offset the cost for us. And then the resolution part just gives us the authority to create the traffic plan for exiting and entering the park. So,
On the exit plan, will you be working with emergency management, the sheriff's office? Is that a team?
they just finalized that last Thursday. They met with emergency management and the city and the county sheriff. Everybody comes together, and we all work together to coordinate that exit plan.
Okay. Any other questions?
Move approval.
Is that of all 3 contracts?
All 3, yes.
Motion to approve all 3 contracts by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item G, Audit Finance. Number 1, consider authorization to sell 24 paddle boats from the Parks and Recreation through the Purple Wave auction site.
Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. As you know, Parks and Rec is replacing their paddle boats, so we would like to get them, the old ones, on Purple Wave to sell them. Since it's the beginning of the summer, we're hoping that there'll be more of a market for them now.
Well, now we all know where to look.
That's right.
Is there a motion to approve the request?
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Is there any department head or member of the public that wishes to speak to the commission on any item?
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Site Inspector of Venue Management, Kansas Expo Center. Just wanted to remind everyone that this weekend is Impact Volleyball, so we're getting underway with that, and next week will be Garden Brothers Circus on June 13th. So come out and enjoy some summer activities at the Expo Center.
All right. Any other individuals or department heads? Commissioner Bueller, anything to report?
I don't have anything to report. I was actually going to ask Betty on budget discussions begin in July.
July 5th.
Okay, all right.
And they will be on Mondays and Thursdays after the commission meetings, and some of them will go all day long, but those will be, they will be streaming them live. The IT department will be streaming them live and then also recording them so that anyone can then go to the website and go back and watch any of them.
Good deal. All right. So right after the 4th of July. All right.
All right.
Ready.
Commissioner Archer, anything?
Yeah, we're going to have to limit our partying on the
Yeah,
4th of July
exactly.
dramatically.
On Wednesday, yeah.
Particularly Commissioner Cook.
Well, if I get a paddle boat,
The only thing I had was I wanted to bring to a close the saga of unloading a microwave. And I can tell you that Advantage Metals Recycling at 1628 North Gordon will take old burn-up microwaves. We took it up there expecting to pay $10 or $15, and they actually gave us $6. So it is a lucrative deal all the way around. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. This was a busy weekend. There were a lot of events going on, from the Food Truck Festival to the German Fest to the Mulvane Art Fair, and it's just a good asset to the community. And again, I would put up our community against any as to the amount of activities and cultural events that we have going on. I do want to thank Brittany Moore and KSNT this morning for allowing me to come and talk to them at a bright and early 6:10 in the morning. To get there at 5:45, I don't know how the AM newscasters do it, but it was enjoyable, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about county issues and making sure the public knows what's going on with the county. I don't have any other items. Our next item.
Item 6, executive session.
There's not a need for an executive session today, so we are adjourned.
I know you were on this.
Yeah, bright.